Alright everyone, we start off today actually talking about YouTube, which is funny because I'm going to read a couple of tweets here and you're not going to believe it, and I guess the wider world doesn't know this, thus the problem. So I'm just going to read through this and then I'm going to analyze this. Pat Condell the other day, he was looking at the new YouTube TOS, you know, the ones that kick in on December 10th and say if your channel is not commercially viable, basically screw off. That's pretty much literally what it says. He said, my channel certainly isn't commercially viable as I don't have ads on my videos and never have. By the way, good to him. He may predate me in that sentiment. So I reckon my days on YouTube are numbered just as well. I'm sick of YouTube anyway, looking forward to Google free life. And this is in response, and he's got it literally right here. YouTube may terminate your access or your Google's account's access to all or part of the service if YouTube believes in its sole discretion that provision of the service to you is no longer commercially viable. Now, we're going to read YouTube's response, and then we're going to ask ourselves about ambiguity here a little bit. To clarify, I tweeted this out, and YouTube was responding to both of us. I guess it decided between the two of us we have enough subscribers to be worthy of their notice or something. To clarify, and the cat's singing at the moment, so sorry about that. This section is not about terminating an account because it's not making money or doesn't have ads. It's about discontinuing certain YouTube features or parts of the service, for example, removing outdated, low usage features. This does not impact creators or viewers in new ways. Now, the good news is, according to Team YouTube, new TOS isn't a problem. The bad news is that because of the ambiguity of how it was written, literally not one single person, that I know of at least, in any sphere that I'm part of, aware of in any way, not a single person construed it that way. YouTube has an image problem. Maybe they want to address it. Here's what we need. We need YouTube to be more communicative about things. Be more clear. Stop with the ambiguous language that's not really necessary. Nobody thought that this was about discontinuing out-of-use software. They automatically construed it, regardless of the fact that they could have. Yeah, the language holds up. Yeah, you can look at this and say, oh yeah, it's talking about, like, you know, features that are no longer profitable to YouTube. It's not talking about profitability on the creator end. Okay. Nobody construed it that way. Can YouTube ask itself why it would have such an issue with branding that people left, right, and center, both within and without politics, comedy, and every other sphere I'm personally aware of, every single person who weighed in on it at all was pessimistic about in their appraisal of its content. Every single person, universally. YouTube needs to ask itself if it is pissing away brand loyalty in a haze of TOS changes that don't need to be made. You could have written this 1,000 different ways and it still would have been legally binding. Oh, YouTube may at its sole discretion end the use of certain services, features on this website. If it does so, you don't have a legal reason to complain. Like YouTube says, okay, you can't stream anymore or something. It's not talking about you've lost the ability because of wrongthink. It's just ending streaming for everyone or for a chunk of users based on some arbitrary metric. That would have been fine. Nobody would have had a problem with that. May or may not be necessary. What are you going to terminate for features on YouTube? Likes, comments? They've talked about the latter. Wouldn't that be funny if this is a prelude to removing the comment function? Oh, Dissenter would definitely be the go-to browser for YouTubers. But the damage is already done. YouTube imposes this. It goes viral. They haven't addressed this in any larger sense. I think they're just responding to Pat Condell and myself on this one. That's great if you're part of his or my Twitter audience. That's a relatively limited proportion of all YouTubers. What about other people? Other people that don't see one of our tweets here or this video. They're still worried. Most people on the platform who are aware of the TOS changes and care at all make any form of content they consider even slightly edgy or potentially censorable in nature. They think YouTube is ready to purge them. Most of your platform believes it's about to be purged, YouTube. You realize that, correct? This is a problem. It needs to be addressed. And I would say, on my end, it's a problem in two ways. Number one, the constant shifting of goalposts within TOS has already caused some accounts to be purged, or for people like, I think Ramsey Paul archives everything after a month and then moves everything to BitChute. It's causing a huge shift within how people use the platform, and it's largely a negative one. At the same time, It's causing a problem whereby people are expecting to have problems on the site. Therefore, they're branching out. Now, of course, I don't have a problem branching out. I'm almost at 70,000 subscribers on BitChute right now. It took me years and years to get to that threshold on YouTube. I've managed on BitChute in a couple of years to accomplish what I think took 7 or 8 on YouTube. It's a good thing. There's no problem with alt tech. There are new alternatives springing up as well over time. You've got sites like Minds and Subscribestar, Gab branching out with Trends and Dissenter, the former of which is arguably a big hit. You've got all of these various things now in the works, and you've got new things being worked on now. We're moving towards a new stage of the internet. YouTube is setting itself up for MySpace-style failure, or to set itself up to become like a zombie service, like Yahoo Messenger sort of thing that nobody uses and eventually stops existing altogether. It's problematic. The problem is, for a larger creator like me, I like YouTube. It's not that I have a stick up my ass. I don't dislike YouTube. I don't hate Susan, I can't pronounce her last name, Icky, or whatever her name is. I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with the fact that YouTube is preparing to commit suicide. Thus, all of my work on the platform, which is, the first platform I've become well known on in any way, could go the way of the dinosaur. That sets back my work, but even beyond that, it's more out of principle. I've enjoyed the site and my time on it, so I feel personally alienated. It must be more personal for people who have been on the platform longer, as opposed to someone that they achieved notoriety last year and they've been on the platform for a couple of years, maybe less so. It's not really, I don't think there's as much of a community feeling for people that joined YouTube in the last half decade. For people that joined it in its older incarnations, when it was vastly different from how it's been over the last few years, I think that there's a brand loyalty and a sense of community that's deeper. That's problematic for those of us who primarily have used it as a platform. When YouTube does dumb things that could endanger its very existence, it is driving people literally to its competitors at this very moment by not clarifying this. You need to rewrite the TOS, that line. You should probably make a video. You should have Susan come out and address it. This is arguably worse than Adpocalypse as far as your brand goes. And they seem oblivious. Days later, they haven't talked about it, to my knowledge, at all. That's about all. Peace out.